Hey, Kiran here. Today I'm going to be doing a little tutorial on how I use Orgm to take notes and things. So when I first started, I started off using Org, and then I found Orgm. But when I first found it, it was kind of overwhelming. It wasn't really clear how I should actually take notes. And then when I finally figured it out, it really revolutionized how I take notes. And so I thought it would be I thought this tutorial would be quite nice. And at the moment, I am just going through the process of translating some of my old org notes into Orgm ones, and I thought this would be a good kind of opportunity to take you through the process. So hopefully that's helpful. So let me just make this a little smaller. Hey. Okay, so here is my Emacs buffer. It's looking pretty cool. This is my general.org. It's kind of just where I kind of catch all, throw any note you find into it. And the cool thing about this is my Emacs is kind of set up so that I have this keybind Control-C-O-O that just jumps me to my general buffer. So wherever I am, whatever project, I can quickly take notes. The only problem here is this kind of list of notes is not very organized. It's just a list of random things. They're completely different topics. Obviously, I can kind of search through them. So if I wanted to find things, I can. But it kind of gets a little bit unwieldy, and Orgm really just completely revolutionized that. Now, next thing I want to show you quickly, next thing I want to show you quickly is my my use package for Orgm. This is kind of just copied from the Orgm GitHub. Nothing particularly interesting, but some things I do want to show you are the key bindings that I've set up. The only one that we'll be using today is CNF and CNI, which both of these kind of open up a little mini buffer, so that gives you the list of all of the names of notes that you've put into your Orgm kind of database, and you can quickly kind of find things as you need. CNI kind of does the same thing, but it will insert it. You can only use it inside an Orgm org mode buffer, and it will insert it as a link, so it's great for like adding links. But we'll get onto that in a second. Now, let's get down to business. So what we're going to be doing today is I have this list of notes. Again, these are just collected various kind of tips and tricks that I've kind of picked up over the years, and I want to kind of like systematize them and put them into a sort of slightly better format. So we're going to convert them from org into Orgm. Now, here is kind of an example tip. It's just a tip saying Firefox free up memory, and it says if you go to About Memory and click on Minimize GC Usage, then maybe you can reduce the memory usage if you're running out of space. Who knows? Evidently, this was something that I ran into at some point, and I've written down, just in case. So how do we go about adding this to Orgm? Well, this is kind of the system that I use. Broadly speaking, I try to like put them under some sort of category. So in this case, this is kind of like a sysadmin tip. If you're running out of space on Firefox, then we can kind of like insert that. So I have let me just split this window rather. I have this kind of node called sysadmin tips, which is where I kind of store random like tips like this. So I'm going to add a new thing. I'm going to use CNI because I want to insert it as a link. And I'm going to do freeing up memory on Firefox. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to Firefox. Okay, cool. So now I'm just going to copy and paste this and place it in. The cool thing about Orgm is that essentially you can kind of like add links and insert random notes. So what I would also do is I might add a link to Firefox. So here I have like Firefox written here. So I'm going to do CNI, and I'm going to call this, I'm going to create a new node, Firefox browser. And I'm just going to say I guess an open source popular browser, right? And so now we've added this link. And now we can close this buffer and we can close this role. Here we have another thing about GPG decryption failed. I would consider this kind of more under, okay, well, I guess this is more like a Unix tip. Sort of, I'd have another category for sysadmin tips. Let's try and find something that's slightly more interesting. Let's see, these are all kind of sysadmin tips. Okay, yeah, GraphViz. So this is not a sysadmin tip. This really doesn't relate to sysadmin. It's really about GraphViz graphs. So what I would do if I wanted to sort of store this is I would first say, let's kind of split this buffer, and let's create a node for GraphViz. So GraphViz is this kind of tool. It's a Unix tool for quickly creating and laying out graphs. Sounds good? So we add this note, and then we can add, and then I think, like, because this is so specific to GraphViz, I don't think it's worth a separate note. So I'm just going to add like a little subheading here, and I'm going to call tips. And actually, I might give it a separate note. Who knows? So we can just do CNI, and we can say changing the resolution of GraphViz graphs tips, and I can add that. Okay, there are better ways of doing this, but whatever. Okay, cool, and we can just put this in. Yeah, in GraphViz. I usually also like to put a little backlink, so I'm just going to do that. Okay, cool, and then we've done that, and then we can delete this. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Hopefully you've kind of got the feel of how you can sort of make these kind of notes in Orgm. The core idea is essentially there is no strict boundary as to what topic is kind of too small to be a note, right? If in doubt, just create a new note. And it can be like a concept, it can be a topic. If you don't know where something could fit, you could just have it as a free-floating kind of note, but generally I like to try and put some category into things. So like even this GraphViz thing, even though technically I could have just put in like a free-floating, oh, here's just some random thing, I decided to put like a little node for GraphViz so that at a later point in time, if I decide to, I don't know, reference GraphViz, then I might find this additional tip. Might not particularly be useful, but who knows. Anyway, I guess that's my tutorial on how to use how I use GraphViz for taking notes. Hopefully it was helpful, and if you did, please let me know via comment. All right, see you around. Bye.